Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ratings Show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. Proudly brought to you by Horizon Finance Group. I'm here with Pommy. Hello, mate.
Are we all diddling?
We're good. We're here doing a rating show after a win, which is nice. It's nice to not have to unpack a problem, even though the problem has not gone away. And I feel like I'm going to have to repeat myself a lot tonight as we do ratings and just remind those. I feel like I almost feel guilty for smiling this week, even though I know that the problem's not fixed. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I mean, yeah, I think the positive is we've won.
Yeah.
And I also think that the fact that people aren't getting super excited is also a sign that maybe we are good. Like, we are beyond surprise we beat the Eagles. So, I mean, I take that as a positive. But it's nice to do this when you're not, like, wanting to cry in front of the camera.
Yeah. Maybe 4 meltdowns in a row, but you got to add like a little win in there just to allow some breath.
Yeah. Look, honestly, look, I have a phrase. It's better to learn when you win, isn't it? Like, it's a lot better analysing this about what you can fix when you've got 4 points in the bag, as opposed to seeing you slightly above Eagles, slightly above Melbourne. At least it's nice to talking about it with 4 points in the bag.
Yeah, it's good to be out of the bottom 4. There's a top 4 aspiring team.
Mate, flags are on. But no, it's good. It's good to talk about a win. Like, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take out. Like, we're going to see a lot of reds go into the greens this week, so that's good.
That's good. Have you seen an expectation or a reality shift so quickly in the space of 4 weeks from the start of this year to, this week?
It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one because we've really been knocked back down to earth, haven't we?
Yeah. So anyway, we'll go through. We're going to go through. If you're new to the ratings, welcome. We basically go through every player. We use an algorithm that Pommy has created to compare each player and their role to the best players in the league in the same role. And that's how we get a score between 0 and 10. So you'll have a chance to have a look at the roles of each player, how they were performed, the key metrics, comparing what they did on game day compared to the AFL average as well. And then we'll have a bit of a chat about it. And yep, just a reminder, Teddy, well aware, this game means nothing. If I need to repeat it every rating, I will. We're just reporting on round 5, and I'm well aware that it means nothing. Let me just say that one more time. I'm well aware that it means nothing. I know. We know. No one's under any illusions that we're winning the flag. So just want to make sure that that's been made clear so we can all have an enjoyable show and not accuse people of taking things without accepting the reality. So again, I know where we're at, Teddy. Thanks for reminding me. Let's begin. Jack Silvani. Flaggers. Jack Silvani. What's the story with Jack Silvani?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's worth noting these ratings. Remember, you also go against your opposition, right? So you go against your opposition, and Eagles are sometimes debate if they were a football team at points in that game. Like, it reminded me a little bit like if you were at a youth centre and they all had a uniform. It reminded me of that. But Jack Silvani, what can we say about him? So Jack Silvani, he played a little bit of a different role. You'll notice this week, there's been a lot made of Carlton being high up the ground. And at the minute, I am sick of hearing high press. It's actually doing my head in. I don't know if someone's accidentally stumbled across ESPN while doing soccer analysis, and it's now like become a new thing. But I just need to put this out there to the world because I'm sick of reading Carlton need to sort that out. every team in the history of AFL since like the 50s, when you play a side that can't exit out of D50 and are rubbish, you camp up the ground and wedge them in there. So when we like that is normal. It like when you've broken a team's spirit, it may when Carlton fans go, "Oh my god, we play a real high line." Watch 2018. Like there was times where fullbacks were in our D50 of the opposition. Like they proper wedges in because we're rubbish. So it's an interesting one. But Jack, what did Jack do? Jack has really impressed me in this game because he's one of the few players. There's probably 2 players in this team that we've done the same data for every game. So that's a real positive. He keeps the high standard up. This, I think, is quite a difficult game to judge for defenders because there was times where the ball didn't leave halfway. So you could be guilty sometimes of switching off. And we've seen that a lot this week where teams have kind of dominated. The defenders kind of have a little bit of a kip, sleep, and then suddenly they're like, oh, shit, I'm playing football. Jack, real high levels. Everything was AFL standard, which is quite hard when the ball doesn't really oscillate in your defensive half. So you can see there by his heat map, reflections, this is a guy that was playing centre-half back. Carlton did what you should do, leave open the low percentage shots. So you'll see a lot of red in the corners of the defensive half where Carlton just started to flood the corridor and make it hard. But you also see a lot of this yellow in the midfield from our defenders as they literally got to have a picnic in the halfway line.
Yeah, he's getting more and more confident flying for intercept marks every week. Let me just set the scene for Jack. So what is he? He's 27. He'll be 27 for the entirety of this year, 120 games, out of contract. When's the right time? How much do you need to see before you know that he's part of the next wave of the tilt towards hopefully a premiership? Whenever that is.
All due respect to Mitch McGovern, who had a great game this week and needed it. I would say just from the 4 games we've seen down the back, you can see the synergy of Wheaterin and Jesus already. So, for me, if I was the list manager, I'd be inviting him in my office for a cup of tea probably last week. Because worst case, even let's just say Harry O'Farrell eats mum's steak from now till September and comes back a complete beefcake. If Jesus is the next best in that, it's worth keeping him. So very, very, you can't teach what he's got. So I think I'd want him recruited by the buy at the worst.
Yeah, I was like a 2-year deal. What would you offer?
I think 2 years because I think you've got genuinely, apart from the injury last year, the guy's quite robust. He can play about 8 positions. So from a list management perspective, let's just say next year you do a Josh Battle, like you get a player like that who is a massive upgrade on Jack, but say someone of that ilk, that kind of recruitment. You've got forward coverage, you've got ruck coverage, you've got he literally helps you balance your list. So 2 years, get it done, ASAP Rocky. I don't think it'll be a lot. I think Jack wants to stay, so I don't think Jack's the type of person who's going to be like 1.7 million 2 years. He's going to probably just take his fair worth.
Yeah. Well, he gets a 7.3. I mean, he even, putting their hands up to do media after games and press conferences, I've noticed him show up more in more this season than I think ever. Maybe it's because he's playing regular footy now. We didn't have him last year, but I'm seeing signs even in the poor losses. He's one of the few players that I think's been pretty solid throughout. So a positive light.
100%. I mean, it's probably because I imagine some of the old players are sick of being wheeled out after a loss. So the closest you've got who probably answers his phone is Jack Silvani with the name. So, but no, fair play. I mean, I hate the phrase because it absolutely means nothing in the real world, but he definitely bleeds blue. There, you've got me to say it after 6 years.
Oh, you've changed.
I've changed. Yeah, you've worn me down, chat. Do you know what I mean? 6 years, you've worn the shit out of me that I finally said it. So there you are.
All right. 7.3 for Jack. We move along. We get to Jacob Wiedering. Interesting to see where his red zone is. So what do we take from this?
Yeah, so you can see that when they're almost the worst possession is on the arc of your D50, you know you've had a good game. Oh, he's gone AWOL. On proper AWOL. But again, look, a lot of yellow around the halfway. They had the luxury of playing Jacob loose, so you could try and hit them pockets of space as they desperately tried to get it somewhere near us. And you'll see, I mean, we're seeing this number, disposals to his turnover, being really important here because he's an incredible user of the football and he's the inverse of Darcy Moore at the minute. He's kind of pigeonholed as a stopping defender, but as an exciting player, he's probably as good as the All Australians that get in every year at controlling the play. And we're starting to see that from him because obviously now he can trust Jack to take the guy and not go AWOL like we saw last year. Kemp, McGovern, they got a little bit excited and attacked the ball. So real solid from Jacob. And it might surprise some people. I was genuinely surprised to see him in the coaches' votes. But maybe he was in the coaches' votes because McQuarter wanted to feel better about himself and try and go, we'll put a defender in there.
Yeah. No, he was solid. Gavin, you are absolutely allowed to be happy with the win, mate. I hope someone is smiling for once because we don't know how long the smile will last. So, mate, get around it. 7.7 for Jacob Wiedering. So a strong start to our defense. We then move along. We get to Nick Haynes, a bit further up the ground in his red zone. This might have been one of the better performances we've seen from him.
Genuinely, what we saw with Nick Haynes is, and for the first time in what is a long time, which feels like we've only played, 5 games with Haynes and McGovern, but Michael Voss have a strict plan of what the hell these two are doing. So although you see he's had quite a hot zone as he's been used on transition, this was more as Carlton were defending and trying to intercept at halfway in the second half. But you'll see the yellow right in the goal square. So at times he was the deepest. So there was a clear separation this week of Mitchie and Nick Haynes. And we haven't seen that before. They've been oscillating in the same space. So much so that Mitch McGovern has been given a different role this week. So you'll notice we've talked about Mitch McGovern in all the other shows. We haven't because he's on a different line. But this is what Nick Haynes does. It was actually probably, I keep saying this, I blame Voss for Nick Haynes and and McGovern. I don't blame them. If they're playing the same type of role, they're going to hit the same space. This is probably how you play them. Can you do that against a good side? Time will tell. But for this week, it worked beautifully, and the clear separation allowed Jacob and Jack to do what they needed to do, and Nick and Mitch to do what they did independently. So it was actually quite clever.
That was actually a really great recovery from you there.
Yeah, there was a lot of ja words. My brain didn't like it.
Very good. So Nick Haynes, 7.2. More strong showings in the back line. Then we get to young Ollie Hollins. This is the halfback role, isn't it?
It is. So you'll see here, was definitely a halfback for all the game. You can see here, very deep, very deep. Shades at times, dare I say it, of a little bit of a Cade Simpson role as well. Kept himself quite loose, which is nice to see. Some positives for him. A couple of intercept marks in there from him, which you don't often see. As we always expect from this gentleman, a lot of pressure acts, a lot of indicators. The meters gained per disposal, probably one of the exciting things about Ollie at halfback. He's actually finally getting the ball moving forward. Interesting one, though, with Ollie. I hate to be negative. Helen Keller can tell he's not a halfback flanker. And it's fascinating because this week he was defending literally defending like his life depended on it for a Mr. Samuel Doherty, which I find weird, to be honest. Like, let this guy have some fun.
Well, he seems to already have the defensive side of the game ingrained into him. So you're saying eventually you let him free, knowing he's already got the discipline?
I think let him free ASAP Rocky. I'm not too sure. This is the one that makes me really confused. I don't understand why you would buy a premier winger, a winger that, regardless of what anyone says based on his AFL, you've got to look at when you bought him. And when you bought him, by a long way, he was the best winger in junior football. We desperately needed one. It was presumed he was going to take Lockie O'Brien's position. Lockie O'Brien had no defensive craft. And suddenly he's been pigeonholed as, because he's a gut runner, do all the defensive work. I'm not too sure of the thinking. Like, if he was drafted by any other club, he would be playing high up the ground, having the time of his life.
Where's he at now in his career? 47 games, 21 years of age. He'll be 21 for the entirety of... No, he's 20. Yeah, 21. He'll be 21 for the entirety of this year. I think he's coming along okay, young Ollie.
Look, he's growing. He's growing. Like, but I just, for me, development-wise, I don't see where the end product is, because in my opinion, you don't need defensive wingers. But, I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. So 5.9 for Ollie. Then we get to Sardi. Wow. I don't recall ever doing a rating show with Sard and his heat map looking like that.
Yeah, I mean, you get the luxury of when you're playing a team that literally defends as hard as the French defend in Paris in 1941. It does help you. Do you know what I mean? Advance a little bit. And history shows that it's quite easy into Paris. What was fascinating about this is because of the makeup of what Carlton brought in, right? It allowed him. So Matty Carroll, fascinating, got quite a free role. But because he's got a hard edge to him of two-way running, it allowed Adam Sard to be a little bit more aggressive, to really enjoy it. And again, he did really well. He did really well, Sard. This is Sard's game. Wrote down what Sard is good at. This would be it. You want him more on the attacking phase, have people bogged down defending for him. And this is what I want to see from Sardi, to be honest. I want to see more Adam Sard in a free role, having a little bit of fun.
Yeah. No, that was it was a solid performance. And I don't know if you noticed, the bobblehead curse is broken. It is.
It is. I would like to ask Luigi a question. He's talking about it was played in 34-degree day. To my recollection, are Carlton players not Australian? I'd accept that if they were Poms or Northern Europeans from cold, but pretty sure 4 games last week were played in the same kind of climate. Like,
I think most of the preseason as well. It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot summer as well.
Look, I think we've got a lot to work on, but if we're here, like, unless the fucking players are polar bears, fucking hibernate during the fucking winter months, I think they should be fine, shouldn't they?
Look, it doesn't mean that. There's a valid argument that the pressure would generally be down in a game that's extremely hot compared to one that's extremely not hot. No? Especially when you hear it come from a former coach and former players.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think that has any explanation for Carlton. It might have some... Carlton's running numbers are still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Eagles might want to use that excuse. I think they've got bigger issues, though, than 30.
Yeah.
Well, you never know, Terry. The winter might come and Carlton will get better. Because a lot of the clubs above us are named after animals that traditionally migrate or hibernate during the colder months. Could be that.
Could be. Well, Sardi gets a 6.7 in his 200th game. Congratulations to him. And he gets himself on the thumbnail for this coming week. So that's exciting.
Hey!
Way! Matt Carroll, the debutant. We wanted and we hoped for freedom, and we got freedom.
There's two takeouts of this game. If I am Lockie Cowan, I'd probably put my fist through the screen. Legit put my fist through the screen. Probably watch this and goes, right, as a player, when I came through the draft system, I was twice the level of this guy. I had 10 times the skill sets of this guy. And this bloke has come into the team and been played to his skill sets. I would have been so pissed. Like, I watched this game and I had no doubt Matty Carroll will be good. I loved him in his draft year. Sandringham, it's where you go for role players. I remember saying his ceiling could be Nick Newman. There's a bit of Nick Newman about this guy because he's good at defending, he's good with the ball, and he's got something that you can't really teach. He's got a little bit of pride. Now, his numbers really reflect that. Like you'll see here, this little red in the back half of the ground was literally trying to protect players. He was playing behind some of the more aggressive players. Particularly Adam Sard really benefited from Matty Carroll because Matty Carroll's not scared to get involved, use his body, put himself on the line. But what is really nice about Matty Carroll is he works hard two ways. He works hard two ways. He knows when to overlap, knows when to underlap, as shown by the possessions in there. He's got good footy IQ. You can see he comes from Sandringham because if you go to Sandringham, you've got footy IQ. I really liked it. There's something to work with here. There's something to work with. And I've heard some funny comments in the press. Carlton are only struggling because Nick Newman's going. It's probably one of the most banter reasons as people scramble for it. But Matt Carroll, good work, mate. I like this.
Yeah, no,
like it's the first time I've seen a debutant play to his strengths.
His fearlessness it stands out a lot. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to play on instinct, and he was obviously given a license to. Hey, what do you make of the conversation? I mean, pre-game it was why didn't Jordan Boyd play? Is there a reality now where Boyd and Carroll are in the same team, or is it Boyd or Carroll?
Well, I mean, 100%. I think we saw this week you can flirt with how we play. You can flirt with that system. That was probably a positive this week. We saw a way that you can free Sard up. We saw a way that you can free Sam Walsh up. We saw a way that you can, after screaming for it for over a year, let Patrick Cripps go into the forward line. He's a pain in the arse matchup. This is probably another thing that Voss could look at and go, right, okay, back pocket Jordan Boyd. And to protect Jordan Boyd defensively, we'll use Matt Carroll, which then allows Adam Sard to have a little bit of fun. So there is a real method here that you could have a little bit of fun with it. Whether the club will do it or not, I don't know. But honestly, great work from Matty Carroll, because what Matt Carroll did, no disrespect to Jordan Boyd can't do that. Isn't that type of player. So I like this.
The dash in the defense?
No, I mean the robust defensiveness. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The robust defensiveness from him. So hopefully we start to see this a little bit more from Carlton, that we're going to play this guy to try and protect some of the skillful ball users.
Right. Well,
I like Matty C.
Yeah, I was happy with him. Gets a 6.2. Keep him in the team next week?
I really hope so. I really hope we don't see like a one in, one out policy. I really enjoyed this guy.
Yeah. Hopefully more to come. Then we get to McGovern. A relief to see him look like a confident version of himself.
And again, by accident, how this works really well when Carlton are thinking about it a little bit. And when he's got little to no defensive responsibility, that's what you kind of want in the league from these type of players as well. It has to be said. Like, this isn't a singular thing. You want McGovern not really defending. You want him on that outlet, his ability to get forward in the ground. That's kind of the whole shtick of these types of players. And they had that. Nick Haynes had a bit of separation. He had more of the defensive responsibility, more of the contested work, where Mitch McGovern was basically given license to roam, free yourself up, be an outlet kick for us at all potential. And you know what? For a first time in a long time, I really enjoyed this for Mitch McGovern. Like, I really did. This is where you want him. You want him actively coming off his man and getting there, doing his defensive work, but then also being the next cog in the chain. And he was given a license to roam. And you know what? It was great to see him kick that snag as well on it.
Yeah. Sometimes all you got to do is just perform well and smile. Hopefully it's the start of some good form, because he has not been in good form. But an 8.5 is a pretty solid score.
Mate, it's the first time in a long time we've seen Carlton have a defender less. Sard and McGovern, for the first time in a long time, had less than 25% of their possessions contested. That is a long time since we've seen. That's normal from the AFL. So when I talk about kicking efficiency, I always say look at their CPR first, because that affects every good kicker in the comp. Mitch McGovern and Sard. Mitch McGovern went at 100% in the second half. He had 0 contested possessions. Like that, if you want a good kick, put the decent kick out in space. So hopefully Carlton can find a way to do this against good opposition, because obviously it's going to be a little bit harder, but what you did this week can do that all the time.
Do you think we will see one of McGovern or Jack Silvani move to the forward line? Because we've spoken about maybe needing to get rid of one of these tall guys in the back line for a few weeks now. Do you think this is now the opportunity?
100%. You've got to get, for me, if you want to play the modern day way, which is just me personally, Michael Voss obviously has his own ideas. If we are trying to play that slingshot back half of the ground looking really nice, for me, you've got to drop one of Haynes and McGovern. Is there an opportunity in the forward line? My worry with Mitch McGovern is everything I've been told and everything I've seen, I've never seen him train with the forward group for 2 years. And that worries me, because it obviously says to me Carlton have underlined he's a defender. In my opinion, if I was choosing between one of the two to move back, to keep back, it would be Jack. But then if it was one of the two to go forward, it would be Jack. But I'd be upset about moving Jack. It's a fascinating conundrum for Carlton. It's a real fascinating conundrum, because I think you're more susceptible if you move Jack forward than you do Mitch. But it's going to be interesting what Carlton do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really answer you that. I was a politician.
No, you did a very, you've been, that was a very Carlton answer, but yeah.
I'd move Mitch. I'll give you a doubt. Okay. I'd move Mitch, but I think I've got a horrible feeling they move Jack.
Yeah, fair. All right. I'll follow up that question a little later with another idea and another thought. Patrick Cripps, AFL rating of 18. Interesting game here. I mean, the goals really tell a lot of the story, right?
I've seen a lot of people say Cripper's out of form. Yeah. And he was shit this game. And I'm like, if the opposition have got 77 contested, you have stolen this gentleman's bread and butter off him.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's he meant to do? He wants them to be contested because that's where his strength is. If they're not doing it, this guy's got to find another way to impact the game. Now, 3 goals, 3 could have been a 10. I just want to let you know, had he got 6 goals, we could be looking at a 10 from this guy. But what Carlton found by accident is something I've said for a long, long time. The best Cripps is winning the ball and then ghosting up forward. The AFL, you're conditioned to believe Marcus Bontempelli is the best player in the league. The biggest difference between these two players is Cripps never gets the opportunity to showcase his worth in the forward line. He's a pain in the arse when he's forward. And you saw that this week because he lost his one wood, but he brought his 3 wood, his 5 wood, his 2 iron, his lob wedge to the table. And you know what? George Hewitt, suddenly, I said at the start of the year, if Carlton want to be a good team, real good team, we have to see an evolution where it's not Cripps' midfield, it's someone else's midfield, and Cripps is the primary accessory. Suddenly, this is the first time we've seen Hewitt Walsh's midfield, Cripps is the accessory. And accessory Cripps is a problem, because he was a problem.
Accessory Cripps is the way forward for the next era of this group, right?
Yeah, and I think it allowed him to lead. I think it allows him to lead a bit more when some of the other boys are doing the heavy lifting, because I think that's a real old school approach. Your captain has to be the hardest worker. I don't believe in that. I believe your captain has to be the most intelligent player there, the best leader. Doesn't have to be doing the hard graft. He can do the hard graft. He's earned enough credits in the bank now to say to Cooper Lord, you know what, mate? You're young. My body's fucking old. You fucking tackle for a bit, yeah? I'm going to go into the forward line and bob some goals.
Yeah.
He's earned that respect where you can kind of help him. So I really enjoyed Cripps' game. You know, I love his contested, his hard work, but I thought Cripps, in a game that was the hardest game for Cripps to play when no one's been hard and everyone's kind of wilting, he found a way to be a pain in the bum. And I thought them goals really lifted our team. I felt when he kicked them goals, we were lowering our colours a little bit, becoming a little bit laconic, a little bit lazy. I felt Cripps, when he kicked them goals, they were needed. It kind of lifted us a little bit. So, you know what? Well done, Cripps. I like that, Cripps. I'm a sucker for him forward.
Yeah. Well, he gets an 8 for his game. That's very, very good. Then there's this guy. Before you start on his game, if the BNF count was to end right now, is he clearly the winner right now?
No, you don't get the moniker Rodri from me unless you're good. And Rodri, even though he's a rival of my beloved club in the UK, never has a bad game, works his ass off, allows other players to be free. And this was a pure Rodri Hewitt game. This guy here allowed other players to fuck off and have a bit of fun. He has a job to do. He executes it. And this is probably him and Jesus are the 2 players I'm going to give huge raps to this week, because they have kept their level regardless of the opposition. He played this way against Collingwood. He played this way against Hawthorn, as did Jack. It doesn't matter the opposition. These guys will have it with anyone. And this was a fantastic game. And this really did. I hope Voss watched this game and goes, right, I can move Cripps hot zones. Hewitt's got this. So I'm really proud of Hewitt. And you know what? He's starting to get some fucking love. He's got a lot of love on this show for 3 years. Finally, the media are giving him a little bit of love.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been. Well, I mean, his form suggests it. I remember seeing the practice game against St Kilda? Maybe I remember seeing him and thinking he looked stronger than usual, and he's already a strong player. But yeah, the way he started his first 5 games have been. I think, unfortunately, because of the losses, it might get forgotten about. Similar to when Chera played very well early in 2023. It seems to often get overlooked because we were losing. But he's been the best version of himself all year, even in the losses, as you said.
Mate, he works hard. He does what he's got to do. He's not a show pony. Shout out to Harry as well. He dropped a comment on my review. He watches this show. He always comments on it. Shout out to Harry. I couldn't agree more with him. If you were picking an All-Australian, he'd definitely be in the conversation at this stage. Surely. And he probably wouldn't be because he's not sexy. He's not glamorous. But if you were picking an All-Australian to actually play football, you'd probably have George in it. Yeah.
Next question. So the list of free agents came out from on the AFL website. George is one of them, out of contract at the end of this year, I believe. So what does it look like from an offer standpoint, and when do you think that offer's got to get put in?
George, just with his, and this is no detriment to him, right? but I am a firm believer. He's 30 at the end of this year, right? I'm a firm believer that once you're over 30, it's a year deal, continuous.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the hopes, he's a young man. Even though he's young in football terms, in an ideal world, we're talking about this at the end of 2026 and saying Cooper Lord is a better, speedier player. And he has now taken on this role. So you want him there year on year as that backup. So I would give him a year, maybe give him 2, just because he's 29 till December, like just after Christmas, I think. So you can probably cheat. But I'm genuinely of the school 30 is a year deal, because this type of position, if he pops a knee, it could be GG's. So you've got to protect yourself that way.
Okay. Well, an 8.4 for his game. Loving what I'm seeing. Then there was this guy, Sam Walsh. I think we finally got to see the version of Sam Walsh and the role more than anything, and the characteristics of the way he was moving that we'd been asking for.
Oh, dear. Like, look at the blue. So I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but you can see the red. So he started centrally.
Yeah.
But then look at the spread.
Yeah.
The S word, spread. And this is the best Sam Walsh, where he gets the ball, then he pisses off. And then you find him, and the club actively find him. George Hewitt, when he took over the midfield, brilliant. Because he was actively doing the hard work and then finding this guy in acreages at times of space as well. And that is where Sam Walsh is his best. Now, the bit that turned me on about Sam Walsh, really turned me on, is go back and watch his first attempt at goal. He panicked a little bit and he gave it off, and Carlton did fuck all with it. Even when he had the set shot, there was a little bit where he went like that. He quickly went like that. He wanted to give it off. He went back and kicked it. And then that unlocked something in this gentleman's head. He was like, you know what? I am good enough to kick some shots. So Sam Walsh, for me, said it last week. I felt like it was a confidence form issue. He couldn't have asked for a better day, bro. Like, no fucker was near him. He got a lot of the ball. He got to do whatever he wanted whenever he needed to. And it was great to see him, because Sam Walsh having a bit of fun and being able to do what he needs to do, that is where we're good. That is where we're good. And again, you know what? Finally, only 30% contested possession. That's where you want Walsh, because lo and behold, everyone crying about Sam Walsh. He can't kick. Why can't we get kickers? Do you know what I mean? Again, when at 70% by foot, 80% for the game. Lo and behold, what I always say to you, your contested possession, if you add them, your contested possession rate to your kicking effectiveness, you'll get 100%. 30% contested possessions this week, 70% kicking efficiency.
For all the talk about how much the game means nothing in the grand scheme of things, and it likely doesn't a game like this and a performance like this for someone like Sam Walsh and whoever else who has been not at their best, isn't it important? Isn't it actually meaningful for Sam Walsh to see the ball come off his boot and kick a couple of goals and actually remember his goal threat ability? Like, can this be the springboard for something for him?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, you could see when he was inside 50, he gave off one, right? And then the second, he was in two minds and he screwed it up. You could see he was kind of in between, do I kick it to Durden or Kerner? Then the third, when he finally got the kick in front of goals, he had that second thought, do I give it off? So once you get that confidence, Terry, it's amazing what it does. Like, you could see he didn't want to, but then once he did it, you couldn't stop him having a ping at the post, Terry. So I don't think you can ever understate confidence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can never understate just having a day where no fucker's touching you, everyone's letting you do what you need to do. That's important because you don't get these opportunities. So for me, yes, okay, he came up against tissue paper. You still got to fucking do it, right? You've still got to do it, right? And he did do it. And suddenly now he's got some good memories of when I'm out in space, when I get a bit of freedom, I can do this. There's nothing that Sam Walsh, he's quick, he can run all day. If he gets that all the time, he can manufacture that. Probably never will get it as easy as this, but he's got the ability to get himself out free and enjoy himself.
Yeah. Well, he gets a 9, which is purple and also the highest score of the year. I think McGovern broke the highest score of the year, and then Walsh broke it again. Can you give an idea as to how hard it is to get a 9 in this current, in the current way that the scoring's done?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously you've got a couple of measurements that you've got to factor in. The Eagles didn't do anything, so that helped him. You've got to also factor in the fact that he kicked goals, which he didn't do it. What went against Sam Walsh as a midfielder? Okay, well, I mean, the tackle pressure wasn't there, and we'd still expect to see that. Do you know what I mean? We'd expect to see that. You'd expect to see, him still enacting pressure, even though they had the ball 200 times less than us. You'd still expect to see them pressure acts be around the AFL average. But that is a very impressive score. Will we see it again? Time will tell. But Sam Walsh is one of the few people that has had this type of game against great opposition as well. It's you need it sometimes. Yeah.
All right. So a 9 for Walsh. Then we get to Adam Chera. And I think already I've noticed with Hewitt, Walsh, and Chera, their heat maps their red zones are very similar.
Yeah. So, I mean, Blue Bagger asked a question there about Brisbane. How many did Brisbane beat them by? It's well worth noting that this game, I want to specify that. I shouldn't have to keep specifying this because you're all grown-ups. You're all allowed to vote. So if you're allowed to vote, you should have rudimentary intelligence. But I'll specify it again just in case. The Brisbane game, you are talking about a team that looked like a full side. The pressure numbers were good. Their tackles were good. But Eagles, right, this time, I have never analysed a team that bad. Ever analysed a team that bad. When we're talking about these players, just think about it this way. They are going to be warped because they are playing a team. So, although it is Eagles, though, you've got to beat them. So, right. So, to answer Blue Bagger, because I know Blue Bagger is incredibly intelligent, if we looked at Brisbane's midfield, they still have these numbers, though. They still had similar numbers because they broke them in the second half. So you've still got to do it. It's all well and good saying, oh, yeah, Chera's done this against Eagles, but they're shit. Okay, true. But if he didn't do it, we'd have a real fucking big problem. Well, if we were doing this now and he's got 5.5, I'd be talking about delisting the guy.
Well, we did. It was round 1. It was just Richmond.
Yeah, exactly. So I want you to look at this as an analysis point of view of Richmond. They were Eagles talent-wise with application. The big question mark of these boys is when the pressure's applied, and you saw it in the first quarter. No one can be in chat now and lie to me and not say your bum twitched a little bit in the first quarter. There was times, wasn't there? Twitchy bum time where the Blues got a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
Body weight around. But to do it under no pressure is one thing. To do it under pressure is another. And they went through the motions, and that's a positive. So Chera, again, these are the numbers that really excite me. Against a team that hardly has the ball, incredible pressure act numbers. Incredible tackle numbers. Now, I don't like seeing Adam Chera defend, but there's a caveat. I like the way he was the two-way runner here, and Walsh was allowed to be less defensive-sided. I don't want to see two of them play that role. I like this role that Chera and Hewitt were the harder players, running and defending. Cripps moves on forward, and Walsh gets the Nick Dacos role of just have a bit of fucking fun. So I like this. When I ever see only Michael Voss can go, but I felt like this makeup here, long term, is going to be the way that we can control football matches a lot better.
Yeah. So an 8.2 for Ches. Then we get to Cooper Lord, who was the unlucky one to get dropped, but then he was a late in when Akers was out with an illness on game day.
Yeah, so this is one of the hardest games to do. When you're sat on your ass, drinking Gatorade, could be 10 minutes, could be 5. Will I play on Harley Reid? Will I play on Liam Duggan? Who will I play? Like, this guy here was sat on the bench going, who the fuck am I playing? Like, there's no prep here. He's probably prepped for 6 players. But look at his heat map. Very interesting. The great thing about this gentleman, Cooper Lord, is he's not a real attacking-sided player. But a bit like Adam Chera, if you give him morsels of attack, he's going to do very well in the defensive part. The loose ball gets insane from him. Every time the ball hit the deck, he gets his head over the ball. He wins it. Pressure acts, considering that he didn't really play at the start, pressure was a little bit higher. And now he has something to go. He's pretty impressive. And this was a nice little game for a third, fourth string midfielder. I really enjoyed it. I did really enjoy it. This is more what seeing Cripps out of there, seeing the bigger boys out of there and allowing him to do what he needs to do. Impress me a little bit. Allowing him to fight to his strengths. Be interesting if he can do this now and get the responsibility against the midfield that is a lot better, a lot more better than the Eagles, let's be honest.
What do you say about the conversation that was had after team selection and, why didn't Lord play Doc's role? Because I think there was a bit of a misconception around Lord playing for Doc and the role, given Lord's a defensive mid.
Playing inside midfielder on the wing. Like, if that is your suggestion, we just need to stop. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like asking my kids advice for who I should vote for after I've just gone to the hospital to have a Crayola removed a nasal passage. Like, I don't mind answering a question, but if you're going to play Cooper Lord on the wing, it's mindless because he'd last 2 minutes.
Well, this is the thing. Like, why do you think people get it so twisted when they say, oh, why are we giving games to Doc and not Cooper Lord when they're not going to be doing the same thing? Like, where does it come from? Is it just a surface level thought?
I think it's a lack of understanding of one. It's a comment in there about comparing Ned Long to Cooper Lord. Like, if you're comparing a player 2 years older, Terry, in a different system, coming from Hawthorn, who are some of the best developers of talent in the world, right? You've always got to have the context. You've got to have the context. So with Cooper Lord, what does a winger do? He has to be hard running. He has to have a decent speed. He has to have an incredible engine. He's got to relish uncontested possessions. He's got to be a genuine good kick. Cooper Lord would last maybe 10 minutes running up and down the wing compared to Doc. Like, Doc has endurance. So it's like when people say put Sard on the wing. Humans are only born on fast twitch fibers or long-term twitch fibers. So you're either quick, like Usain Bolt, or you're like Gabriel Selassie, who's a long-distance runner. You put him over 100 meters, Usain Bolt will burn him. You put him over 5,000 meters, Selassie will kill him. And Usain Bolt will be asking for a cup of tea after 450 meters. So you've got to find a role for him. So the role here for Cooper is very like Matt Kennedy.
Yeah.
He's going to always get limited midfield minutes because there's no way you'll drop Cripps. There's no way you'll drop Hewitt. There's no way you'll drop Cherry. No way you drop Walsh. You'd be mad to do that. So what you've got to do is find a way to appease that. And the way that you appease that, Cripps rests forward for 20 minutes a game. Walsh goes out to the wing for 20 minutes a game. Chera gets a little bit of 10 minutes a game. Then you can feed the stoppage minutes, which we saw this week, allowing him to get in and around the ball. And then hopefully in a year's time, if you develop him right, you'll have a Ned Long situation where Carlton's system is good, where he has a great understanding and he can take over from George Hewitt. But it won't happen. Do you know what I mean? It won't happen. It won't happen because you'll probably get a situation where, like your Matt Kennedy, where you're mid-20s, you need to play 100% midfield minutes, you've earned your stripes, and you're still 4th, 5th cab in the rank. I'm happy where he is now for a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
I'll start to be worried if this time next year we're still saying he can't be a pure on baller because he needs to start showing something by 21 and 22. And no offense to George Hewitt, it's a good role, but it's a very basic role. Cooper needs to have that locked down by the end of next year, but there's still time. There's still time.
Well, ladies and gents, if you see that online anywhere, play Lord instead of Doc. Send them this show and send them this timestamp. Anyway, 6.5 for Cooper Lord. Then we get, okay, speaking of Sam Doherty, what was the story of his game here?
So this is a fascinating one. For the first time ever, we saw a defensive wing again with Blake Acres. So I saw a comment a couple of days ago, which absolutely blagged my head. And it was like, Blake Acres is really integral to our system because Carlton needs to defend transition and things like that. I was like, okay, cool. I can see why you'd think that because Blake Acres is a freak for his size. He's a very big guy. I watched Doc's game and I'm just like, this system has zero use in today's game at all. Like, you look at this heat map, you heard me talk about Carroll. He's got the ability to underlap and overlap. So you can see here that Sam Doherty kind of underlapped the half forwards. So the half forwards went high up the ground. He snuck into that position. Makes no sense to me. Like this kind of role at the minute is a little bit like Motlop's role when we come onto it. It's kind of a role that's there for the sake of the role. And I don't quite understand what we're hoping to get out of it because I feel like Carlton should press the button here and go, let's get someone attacking. Let's get someone attacking.
Is this Elijah?
It could be. It could be. It definitely could be Elijah. He has had elements on the wing. I don't like it, though, because that was his big issue. He wanted to be a half forward in the mixer in the midfield, where I feel like that kind of Motlop role would make sense for Elijah. Mm-hmm. Give him the stoppage minutes, give him a POD, be the link man. It's a fascinating conundrum, this one, with him, because Doc ran 13 kilometers, right? Ran 13 kilometers, which is about where you'd have a defensive winger. I feel this role here, this is a role here that, dare I say it, Lucas Camporelli played high halfback and on the right wing. This is a role maybe you want a little bit of POD, because no offense to Doc, great servant of the club, he's an absolute champion. I just feel there was times he got the ball here and it felt like there wasn't anything coming from it. And I feel this role, if it is going to be a role, needs something nuanced. And I felt like everything was kind of, look at the uncontested possessions, double the amount from this position. Then gained exactly where we'd expect. I want something to happen here.
Right. Well, 5.7. What would you? Okay, so from what is available on the list, I mean, there's we can talk about going and getting a player in the off season, but that's going to come later. Based on who is on the list now and who is available now, what do you think a better option is?
Well, I can see why Blake Acres plays this role. I can. My issue with Blake is he has a tendency, no offense to him, but he can absolutely butcher the ball. And when you're defensive winger, you're turning this ball over in the midfield. It's coming back with massive interest if you turn it over that close to goal. It's probably his. I'd like Carlton to be a bit creative. You look at the best clubs in the league at the minute, they're playing someone like Ed Langdon, a mature, like a Blake Acres, who's going to play maybe bits and pieces of all the roles. But then they're playing two young guys around him. Have a little bit of fun. Have a little bit of creativity. This is a safe position. You're going to get a lot of uncontested ball. You're going to have a little bit of fun with it. I'd like to see Carlton be a little bit bold here. Don't like to see old guys play this role. I feel like it's beneath them, in my opinion. But I
Is that a
personally,
look?
if I was picking the team, Lucas Camporelli. Strong
Lucas Camporelli.
defensively. I feel like he needs a lot of uncontested possessions. Feel like this is the role for him. But I don't think it'll happen, Terry. I think you'll see Akers back in this role coming soon.
Okay. 5.7 for Doc. Then we get to Matty Cottrell, who for the first time in 2025 looked like the best of Matty Cottrell.
Oh, dear. Having an attacking winger, look at it. Attacking winger. And this is what Carlton often do. You can see Doc started a lot on the left-hand side, real defensive position, and then floated more centrally as Carlton really hemorrhaged them in the back left half of the ground. Then you look at Matt Cottrell, and he's got that space, he's got that freedom. This is where you want it. Ran over 14 kilometres, works hard defensively and forward. What's great about him is he's a two-way runner. He wins the ball, gives it short, gets forward ahead of the ground. That's probably the biggest issue with Carlton. We win it back, no one gets advanced. So, real solid. Look at the meters gained. These were all positive meters gained as well. They were in hot spots. He was trying to use the ball well. The marks are double as well, works really hard, gets himself free, gets himself open. The shots as well. It was great to see someone get in them high positions, fucking pull the trigger. Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that's probably the biggest issue with Carlton's midfield. Everyone seems scared to take the shot. Have a go. Have a crack. I'd love to see this be a 2 attacking winger system, like you see Sydney, like you see the other sides, because I feel like Carlton's got the defensive coverage. If you give them less attacking responsibility, looking at Matt Carroll, players like that, to actually defend these guys going ham up the ground. And it makes sense when you got Lockie Fogarty, who's running a lot of meters, not really kicking goals, defending, that you could actually protect the wingers quite easy. So it's going to be interesting what they do.
All right. Yeah, his kicking was a delight. His inside 50 kicking was a delight. Granted, didn't see many of them with too many West Coast players close enough to him. But again, similar to Walsh, to see him execute and just actually do it hopefully brings him some confidence. So 7.8 for Cots. Then we get to TDK. Interesting conversation around TDK the last few days. We're going to unpack it in a moment. What do you make of his game?
Bang average.
Yeah.
Really? Bang average. And that's been I'm not being harsh. This was a game here where I really thought, no offense to Bailey Williams, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Bailey Williams used to check my nana's ID just to make her smile when she used to go to the old WI lounge at the front. Like I'm pretty sure at night time he works the doors at a WA nightclub. He's not really a top end ruckman, and that's been nice. Really wanted to see him really dictate the game here a little bit. Really, and it would have been great to see when we had Hewitt and Chera playing on the ball. Let's see TDK go up a level. Let's see TDK show Voss, I can play with these guys. And my issue with TDK is he wins a lot of hitouts. He still doesn't really tap to the advantage of Carlton. And I felt this game, it really showcased that. As for the stat markers, pretty average, pretty across the board, what I'd expect. Good score launches. There's contested possessions. He didn't really have to do that this week. But this was a fascinating one. And the one thing I think we missed a trick with, we've no Harry. We're going to lose Harry for 12 days. We presume that he failed the concussion test. And Kemp, we presume it's an Achilles. So he's probably out for the year. I really wanted to see TDK rest forward. I felt this was a missed opportunity. If I was Voss, I'd be like, right, fuck, I've got to find a fix for Mackay. I've got to find a fix for Kemp. Pitternet hasn't worked. Let's see if TDK can do this. Let's see if I can sling this bloke forward and have a bit of fun with him. And it didn't happen. And I'm genuinely upset about that because I thought you've got a half here where Carlton are walking it out of stoppages and centre bounces, fling him forward, say, right, come on then, big boy, 1.7 million. Let's say 1.7 million's a forward craft for him. And it makes no sense to me, that. Bizarre.
Who would play? Are you saying before Harry and Kemp got injured? Like who?
After they got injured.
So who would take the centre bounces in that situation?
Mate, fucking pick a crowd. I mean, they can take the centre bounce and then do what Rowan Marshall does. He taps, is off forward. Carlton were in a luxury. Every time they won a hit out or won the stoppage, there was no resistance. So he could have done that and then rested full forward, just jogged forward. A lot of players do it. Like, that's Rowan Marshall's career. Win the tap, piss off forward, you guys win the ball back for me.
What do you think of Pito playing in the team now with Harry gone and then resting Tom forward and keeping him on the ground for longer?
Yeah, but I think you've got to... I want to test it, Terry. I would have... personally, me, I would have tested it this week.
Tested Pito?
I would not... Terry, I would not be shocked we're doing this rating next week and the changes, Pitternet in for Mackay.
Yeah.
Right? And Boyd in for fucking Kemp and Hewitt in for whoever. Hewitt in for Lord, probably. And Carlton have gone, let's go back to what we always do. I won't be surprised. But to me, I feel like this is an option here that you could have made it a little bit easier. Having Lewis Young maybe as the full forward, whatever Voss is doing with that. And just seeing if TDK like it's a string to his bow that we don't see. And this was the game, Terry.
Well, 18.7 AFL rating, 6.3 player rating here, which is AFL average for TDK. Then we get to Zach, who was slated to play halfback, then pretty quickly had to go back into the forward line. So how does this look?
Yeah, this is a really interesting one for me because I love Zach, don't get me wrong. He's got a great fucking surname. Right, so I've got to like him because probably somewhere we've got a little bit of blood relations here. And it's a bog standard game, which I think in the context of things worries me a little bit because, like, honestly, I wanted to play in the second half because I was like, can't be that hard, can it? Like, you just wear a pajama top and the ball comes to you. It looks pretty fun, This was one of them games where I love the fact that Voss put a lot of time into it and kept him as deep as he could, right? As deep as he could. But this is another thing where I question Voss. He needs goals, so does Motlop. This is where you change it up a bit and you go, right, the wheels are off. They're just counting down the minutes until this game goes. Zaki, Mr. Motlop, you get forward. Durden, you're playing in the mid now. Have a little bit of fun. We gave you a game in the VFL. Let's see if you guys can get on the scoreboard and just enjoy yourself a little bit. Made me feel weird that it didn't happen. And I felt last week at halfback, you saw something a little bit exciting there.
But do you think this was just out of necessity because Harry and Kemp went down?
Yeah, but the forward line looked zero threatened, did it, Terry? Like, let's be honest, as big as Harry and Kemp are a loss, it had no ramifications on this game.
That's true.
Like, I would probably argue Carlton were better when they were off the ground. Like, because we broke their spine. But I look at, I look at Kingsley, and Kingsley made a comment earlier this week about actively trying to find Jake Stringer so he could get the monkey off his back and kick a goal. That's good coaching. Because to me, I'd be doing the same. I'd be like, right, Zach, you've been a bit out of form. If you are a forward, let's put you full forward. Let's get you in there. We're just going to bomb the fucker into the mixer and we'll find you. Free yourself up. Get a couple of snags. Life is good. Life is fine. Let's have fun. I felt like this was a nothing game. And when you're against this type of opposition,
yeah, the opportunity.
He disappointed me a bit.
Yeah. Well, he gets a 5.9. How was the shot on goal he took? How slow did he jog for it? And I'm like, is he either spatially unaware of what's happening or are his teammates not calling out to him that he's hot and that someone's chasing him down? It was a really weird passage of play.
There is no doubt in my mind that Carlton's communication at times is laughable. But
yeah,
when we've got to the forward line, you see these numbers are rapidly shooting down. And this is where I want you to have an element of concern, an element of concern. I want you to enjoy the win because I'm enjoying it too. But I want you to think the staple of Voss's game is forward pressure, right? It's locking the ball, making it incredibly hard to come back out of. And suddenly that didn't really happen. That didn't happen because Carlton's forward half scores are plus 60 to the opposition. Very well. The gap narrows when you look at scores from the defensive half rapidly. Right. They scored 30 points from defensive half, which is very common in all of our games this year. Teams get 90% of their points from the half-back line. So you've got to be looking at these forwards to say, you don't come out of here very easy. And Zach Williams, when he's playing that high up the ground, has to defend.
All right. 5.9. Then we get to Lockie Fogarty. What happened here?
This was nice to see him kick a goal. But again, he had 4 opportunities to kick a goal, and I think he burnt 2 of his mates. And then he finally slotted one. This one is interesting because, again, we're getting a lot of the tackles, but I want you to look at other players, and we're going to talk about another player. Most clubs nowadays don't play a defensive pure forward unless they're playing like a freak of nature at halfback. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and even then, they don't often do it. They'll have a defensive responsibility, but they have averaged 2 goals, 1.5 goals a year. Foggy's a really interesting one because it's almost like he doesn't want to do it. And I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that's fear. I'm assuming that's a little bit of lack of confidence. But this guy, if he's there purely defensively, he had 3 tackles inside, led our team with it. He's got to be doing that against the best teams in the competition because that is the staple of Voss's game. We defend from the forward half. And if it doesn't work, we're sitting ducks on transition, as we've seen. I feel like if I was coaching that system, I'd be saying to Voss, play 2 attacking smalls because the more goals you get, the more dangerous they are, the less likely they're going to take the piss off halfback because they're going to be worried about our defend forwards. If I was an opposition coach, I know this guy's not kicking goals.
Yeah, you're not worried about it.
Like I'm not going, oh, fucking hell. Motlop's going to be 45 metres away from goal all week and Fogarty's just going to tackle one of us. And that's a concern because I think we do that all the time. I think we look at the small forwards and go, how many is Liam Ryan kicking us on us today?
Well, a straight 6 for Fog. Then we get to Will White, another small forward playing. How's he coming along in his second game?
Right. One thing I like about Will is if I had to give him any compliments, he works hard. It's obvious. He's one of them players that I think when people rate him, they like him because he works incredibly hard. Like, it's obvious as well. Like, it's obvious he's working hard. Some things that I don't like, that I like the fact that for me, and this is me being purely high level angry with him, there's a little bit of selfishness that he's got the ball.
You think?
Like 0 inside 50s. Do you know what I mean? And he's got the ball, as you can see, quite a lot of time on the outskirts of that, right? On the outskirts of that. Positives, I love the fact that when he's near the goals, he has a shot. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. He has a crack. I like the way he runs hard. He's, again, though, no tackles inside 50, and this, we're not in a position the way we structure up to play 2 guys not doing it. 2 guys not doing it. Like, evidently, they've all got to do it. Is he good enough to be a full-time, you get to stay at home and do no defensive responsibility? I don't think he is. So this is a real nice development space here with Will that I'm hoping we can add something to him. But he's not going to get these gigs all the time. You're not going to play and have this much freedom, which you've seen from the scores of these forwards. The algorithm is saying this should have been a hell of a lot better from this area. And I think this is the biggest issue midfield forward connection, forward mid defense. It's killing us.
Yeah. Play him this week?
I don't think you can play four smalls, Terry. I'm going to be totally honest.
Fair.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Well, he gets a 6. I agree with you, by the way. Oh, you can play this one, though. He'll be playing this week. Corey Durden.
Oh, fucking hell. Like, if you want to watch a game and say, why does Pom get so upset about the small forwards? I can't remember since the great Matty White, someone that stood at the back, actually goal side of a marking contest on the off chance that the ball isn't fucking marked and it goes out the back. And where usually their little back pocket gets the ball and he's like in acres of space, he just pings a ball out of there and suddenly we have another score against from defensive half. Having him there, well done. AFL 101 basics. Like, if you were a small forward in the bigs, just stand behind the big fuckers. It's easy. Brilliant. I like Durden. And, like, look at Durden there. Above AFL average for tackles inside 50 as well. Amazingly, you can be both. You can kick goals, but you can also defence. We're not in 1980s anymore, and he's got emphysema because he smokes 4 durries before the game. They can run both ways as a forward. Brilliant. More of it. Please, 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 please. Can 2 players do this full time? Because if 2 players do it, we could be cooking on gas.
Yeah. Well, he's always had the appetite for defensive.
Look at the crumbs, Terry. 6 of the fuckers.
6 crumbs. Well, I think that's been the knock on Durds. His offensive production. But
Terry, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, play like a small forward. Small forward, like, we've cracked the code. Just do the job.
We found one.
Honestly, great effort. Enjoy it anymore.
He was great. He also turned 23 years old today, 14th of April.
Someone as well, I noticed when Fogarty kicked the goal, this is me being like maybe pedantic. I could be pedantic, but he looked about as happy kicking the goal as I did being told at school on a Wednesday afternoon, you're going to have to go to the hospital. Your nan's about to die. Like, that's how he looked. I gave the same reaction when the principal told me that. Corey Durden, when he kicks a goal, he's having a time of his life, isn't he? Yeah. And that's infectious, Terry.
Yeah, energy. Energy's real, man.
Look at his tongue, bro. He was having a bit of. He enjoyed that. Like, if you go to Corey Durden now and go, it's all right, bro, you kicked a goal against West Coast, he doesn't give a fuck. He kicked 4 of them. Like, try telling him. It was just West Coast. Well done, Cos. Do it again, bro.
That's it. Do it again. Do it again against North Melbourne. LS is asking, why can't Billy Wilson be trialled in Fogarty's spot to make us faster? He's just as good a tackler. Is he? Similar disposal and adds to Billy's development. Is he just as good as a tackler?
It's different skill when someone's running towards you. Then you've got to remember you're chasing. You're chasing generally. Billy's entire game at halfback, you're coming towards him. Do you know what I mean? So from a forwards point of view, I feel like forwards are the forgotten people in AFL. It's an incredibly hard skill. So when you look at the guys who were successful, it's like when people say Liam McMahon, Ben Crocker, they're leading goal kickers in the VFL. Why can't they play as seniors? I'll tell you for why. They do fuck all unless they kick goals. And in the AFL, you have to have more than that. Billy Wilson's quick. I love Billy the Kid. He's one of my boys, one of my favourite players in the juniors. My issue with him is he is a halfback runner. You can see that that's his gift. He needs to do that. I don't think he's ever shown me any suggest that he could kick goals. He could be a snagger. And if it's the choice between having Durden, having Fogarty, or maybe Billy Wilson, just go out and buy one.
Yeah.
I'm tired of us being the club that won't throw shit out. We're like the hoarders of the AFL. Like, most clubs, when you buy Mitch McGovern and you need an interceptor, just go and buy one.
Go and buy one, draft one.
You don't just go, which trade did we fuck up in the last 3 years or draft that we could maybe convert? Just buy one.
Yeah. All right. Let's power through here. Dirds 8.4, Jesse Motlop, AFL rating 9.1. Is this guy's role getting misunderstood from people? Are people thinking of what they think a small forward is and applying it to Jesse Motlop as opposed to watching what his actual role is?
All I can think of is Michael Voss tuned in one day and watched Isaac Rankine and his role, and then said to himself, why do we fucking do that? Because this role makes no sense. Because if I was playing someone in the midfield as a POD, which is why you're starting to see Tom Papley float through the midfield, it's why you saw Toby Green float through the midfield, it's having something, it's having a POD, having an awkward matchup. That's Durden's role straight away, straight off the top of the bat.
This one here that Jesse's playing?
Yeah, because that's what Durden did as a junior. Durden was known for playing on the wing, spurts in the midfield, and then resting half in the forward pocket. He's quick, he's Durden. The problem with Jesse Motlop, and this, I don't get it. I was hot on him because when we did the draft that year, we needed someone that would never defend, someone that would hide in the forward pocket and change the dynamic. I feel the issue with him, and I don't mind him in the midfield at all. My issue with him is Jesse Motlop's not known for his pace. And the amount of times Jesse Motlop gets caught is crazy. Because you've got to have burst. When you're getting the ball as a POD, you've got to break out of it. This is a fascinating one for him because this is, again, fourth quarter, throw this bloke in the forward pocket, kick 2-3 goals. Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun. Get the feeling back. Get the vibes. It was an okay game, but again, this is just a waste. But again, I want you to notice something. Tackles inside 50 again above AFL average. And this is something you see with Jesse quite a bit recently. He is working hard in the forward 50 defence. I just feel I personally would like to see next week these two swap round. Durden play the Fogarty role. Motlop play the Durden role. And Elijah play this Motlop role at half forward. Like, play them to their actual drafted strengths. Like, this is the one thing that makes me angry. We're not very good at developing talent as it is.
Yeah.
So how arrogant are you that you believe you can redefine what they are from the day they were born? It's not going to work. I agree he's got traits to play this role. Help him out.
Yeah. 5.9, Jesse Motlop. Then we get to Charlie Curnow. I think a lot of people... Oh, actually, I don't know what people were expecting from him. Maybe we can touch on his goal kicking shortly, but he looked to play a much different role than what I think most expected.
Well, I mean, Charlie was anticipated here to kick 4 goals. Right, 4 goals as a minimum. Thank you, Mrs. Palm. The only positive I can give you about Charlie is he dominated his one-on-ones, and Carlton didn't target him in the second half, incidentally. Like, they started to, dare I say it, be exciting, change angles. Look, like, it was a very un-Carlton forward entries at times. They actually looked for leads, which was nice. What was good, though, from Charlie is I want you to notice a couple of things. The marks on lead, he made these dummy rolls quite a lot. Quite a lot, right? Which is very good, very positive. The big one that I want to talk about is I've been saying for many, many years, Mackay and Harrier played the wrong way. Played the wrong way. If I want someone up the ground, it ain't Harry, it's Charlie. Because Charlie's a better kick. He's genuinely, you don't need the height because it's the ball's going to hit the ground 9 times out of 10. That mark down the wing is a rarity. Teams protect that because they have people around. Carlton just kick it there, hoping we mark it. Other teams play a Jesse Motlop around there. Ironically, that's what Rankin does. He's the exit. He's waiting for Riley O'Brien not to take that mark. Then he picks it up one-handed and the bloke's off, and it's like, woo! Charlie's brilliant at that. Charlie's entries inside 50s like a midfielder. Michael Voss, if you're watching this, when Harry does come back, full forward the guy. Let Charlie get up the ground, because I feel like you really saw, although in front of goal, I'm not happy. I really enjoyed his working up the ground. I feel like suddenly that looks a bit better. He's the Jeremy Cameron of our team. Harry's more the have a bit of fun, Jesse Hogan full forward. I want Charlie Kerner up the ground, being involved in play.
What about for this week when you know that Harry won't be there and you know that Kemp won't be there? Same?
Okay, look at Brisbane Lions, right? People are saying Brisbane Lions at the start of the year, Brisbane Lions couldn't win the flag because they have Eric Hipwood as their best forward. Lol, was pretty much the media. Okay, let's look at Brisbane Lions as evidence. Brisbane Lions use their full forward, Eric Hipwood, to play off him. They're looking for someone to play off him. So you could quite easily do that, right, with Carlton. Then what happens is Oscar McInerney goes into the goal square. And what did you see this week? Eric Hipwood got to work up the ground, got them back into the game, kicked 5 goals in what? A blink of an eye? Just play Lewis Young if you have to in the goal square. Let the good teams, why good teams are better than us in the forward line is they work off the biggest guy there. The big guy, when he leads, creates pockets in behind him and pockets in front of him. When Carlton have Harry full at centre-half forward and Charlie, where's the camera? There. Here, what happens is you good forward setup. Your full forward will lead one way, your centre half forward will lead another way, creating pockets of space here that you can work out the back of that contest. Have an extra third runner. When they're inverted, Charlie's instinct is working up the ground. So's Harry's is working back towards the goal square. Suddenly they enter the same area. And then our small forwards are literally outside this heat zone. It works so well. So I think get Harry full forward, be the body, get Charlie up the ground. So next week, Lewis Young's full forward or whoever that is, pick a player, get him up the ground, get Charlie involved in play.
Yeah. 6.6 is what he gets. Then we get to Harry. This will obviously be a tough review, short review. The journey back to playing ends with a concussion after a collision with Tom Gross. Is there much to talk about with this game?
Not really, no. I mean, we've protected his rating, so you'll see his rating. The rating wasn't going very well because he was one of the few forwards to lose a one-on-one burst against Sandy Brock, which I did have a smile to myself because I took the piss. One of my mates said, oh, they've got Sandy Brock in defence as their best key defender. Carlton are going to kick 50 goals. And I was like, my last message to my mate was Sandy Brock legacy game. And when the first contest and Sandy Brock won, I texted him during the game going, told you, seen this before. Unlucky. Question marks, though, of why Carlton playing behind the ball so much. Even when he's rucking.
Yeah, he took a few ruck contests too.
Yeah, no, but even when he's rucking, you don't need to do that. You can. He doesn't have to follow the play. We've got enough bodies. I feel like that's a very defensive formation. We've already complained about TDK doing it. I'm complaining about Harry doing it. It's baffling.
Yeah. Gets a 2.8. He will miss North Melbourne. He will hopefully be ready for Geelong.
12 days, but historically, players with multiple concussions have taken longer as the club give him a bit of breathing room. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him miss Geelong as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to talk about. I wasn't as concerned about Harry because Kemp did his Achilles. And then I realized Harry's had a couple of concussions now. So there was the Sydney elimination final, and then there's another one that has completely blanked me.
I think it's his fourth, isn't it? Oxford, he said, from memory.
I had
his fourth.
3 in mind, and then I've forgotten the fourth. I was going to ask you guys. 2021 at the SCG. 2021 at the SCG.
At the SCG.
Wasn't that the game that Hewitt was subbed out? 2021 at the SCG. Hewitt did his shoulder, maybe?
I'm going to be totally honest. These games all merge into one blur.
2021 when we lost to the E. Oh, that one. Okay, that one. Okay. So there's 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's a very serious, potentially a very serious situation. Let's see. All right, let's move along. That's Harry. This is Brody Kemp. Oh, wow, we've lumped them together. Oh, they are the final 2 ratings. Okay. Yeah.
You know what's brilliant about this is it could have been such a good game.
Yeah.
And the heat map excites me because it shows probably how the third should work. Mm-hmm. Third should be will roam into these pockets of spaces. This is where Harry kind of annoys me at the times because he leads to these spaces, but he's meant to be your first/second. So you want them never to really roam anywhere other than centrally. So it's really annoying, this one, because this game could have been so good. Because look, already he's at the AFL level for goal assists. Score involvements are pretty healthy. We're starting to see a game here for him. And it's genuinely annoying that he got hurt because I feel like this could have been quite the game. And you look at his rating, the algorithm has actually, it's liked its game.
4.5. He was on track. And now it's just such a long road back. Such a long road back for him. And ACL, he's come back from it, gets himself back into the team. Still no confirmation, is that right, about the Achilles? Or has it come while we were here?
I don't know. Sending him my love, though. I'm a big fan of Brody Kemp. Like, I can't tell you. You should never judge a footballer by his character because they're two different things. But I can tell you as a human being, Brody Kemp is one of the great human beings.
Yeah. All right.
ACL. You got to feel for him. ACL now, and if that's a Achilles tear, which it looks,
it's rough.
Like they're probably the 2 fucking worst things to come back from. So honestly, Godspeed, mate. Godspeed.
Good luck to him.
Creates a problem, doesn't it? Is it Ashton?
Is it Ashton? Is it a total rejig of the forward line again?
Well, I've been saying Ashton's role, everyone gets it wrong. I saw someone on Twitter say he plays like a small forward. His role was always the third tall. And that's why I was excited. He was Jack Martin 2.0. Like, is this the option that is it as simple as Lewis Young full forward? Ashton actually gets 5-6 games. Right, bro, come on. You've been rubbish. You probably don't deserve this opportunity, but we're going to give you the actual role you were drafted for. Run, make them leads, show me what you got. Because the role he's playing is like a pseudo small when he plays for the seniors.
Right.
So it doesn't help him.
Let's have a look at the full team.
Okay.
Okay, so apart from Mackay and Kemp, which there is context as to why they would be in red, it looks a lot better.
Yeah, and look, just to feel like me and Terry are repeating ourselves, we get it.
Yeah. Yes, we get it. Understand.
It was Eagles.
We understand. We're not getting carried away.
It was Eagles. It was almost banter. It was like it was as close to playing against traffic cones ever. But
just understand that we do this for every game, no matter which game it is. We don't not do it when we beat a shit team.
Can I just say, I did get a PM. I won't reveal them, but someone said, "Pom, I hope you don't change how you are, and I hope that you actually go the right way and actually harshly judge these players." And I'm like, what do you want me to fucking do? Like, can't manipulate data. It's not my fault. But no, what you're seeing here, and I want to just show some problems here, Right, I want to show some problems. So if we go from in the middle, the bottom to Zach Williams, and we finish at Kemp, one of the key cornerstones of our system is our forward half pressure, right? So one of the things that people do is there's been a lot of talk about Carlton being the number one team in the league at stopping the ball, right? Prioritize defense. This is good. It's the most warped stat in the world because what it means is you're committing a lot of men forward to lock the ball in. Hence, you don't move the ball, right? Hence, you don't move the ball. Look at our forward ratings against a weak team. This is a concern because the defensive numbers weren't very good. And as we know, the Eagles scored quite freely from the back half of the ground. So an element to improve. If you want some positives, though, the midfield hummed. So the midfield humming is really good. We need to see that more. And then the back line, what I'd expect, very mediocre against a side that's not really got much to do. It's hard to get stats. So a lot of the stats here are exciting stats, attacking stats. Some concerns, Ollie Hollands, still not convinced. Kitty, I don't want to bag him, but I don't get that role. So a lot of options here, a lot of things to learn. Learning in a win is good.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at 3 Eagles players that we can learn from based on how they played. Jack Graham.
I bet no one dares say this now, but it's Eagles because we'll see their ratings, won't we? We'll see their ratings. Okay, so Jack Graham. Why did I like Jack Graham? Why did I pick it up? Probably the only person to show any resistance to Carlton. And you know what? I'm a big fan of West Coast Eagles. Going to put that out there. I'm a big fan of what they do and what they stand for. Genuinely concerned that a player that has never played for them gives more of a shit than people that were drafted by them. He was a menace for the Blues. A lot of the issues the Blues had came from this guy's pressure. For if he's your best player when he's meant to be your best role player, said a lot about them. But you know what? He can hold his head up high. And that picture there was taken on the ground. If you actually look at that picture there, he's the one who looks the most depressed. Like, he looks really heartbroken, which worries me. Like, from an Eagles point of view, I'm a man of football before I am Carlton. It does worry me a little bit that he was so let down.
Well, he got a 6.6. I like this kid a lot. Ryan Marriage. Big fan.
Ryan Marriage, eh? What a beautiful human being.
Maurice loves a bit of ceviche.
Mate, there's a little bit of tit about him as well. And you know what I liked is why I wanted to showcase him is these numbers are really positive for a guy to get nearly a 10 playing the back half of the ground against a team that honestly were almost walking Carlton into the goal square. Was very impressive. He really took the game on, and he did showcase an area where Carlton is susceptible. You always hear me talk about Carlton treat the ground ball in both of the arcs as if it's a fucking live grenade. Marriage feasted on that, and if Marriage had midfield support, he could have really caused a little bit of issues for the Blues. So I was very impressed with how Marriage handled himself and gave something for Carlton just probably to watch this tape back and go, he's at the foundling of his career. This is probably an area that you need to protect a little bit.
Yeah. So he got a 6.4. Then we get to Liam Ryan, flying Ryan. He had me squeezing the butt cheeks when he nearly kicked his second in a row in the third quarter.
I'm going to give you a sneak preview for off-season content, but we're going to talk about Liam Ryan a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you for why. We've got a young gentleman called Jade Gresham, right? We've got a Tyler Gresham coming through the NGA. And one of my fears for Tyler Gresham is I watch him play and he reminds me a lot of Corey Durden when he played in the juniors. And Jesse Motlop, natural goal-kicking talent, has eyes in the back of his head. He has great space. He's an X-factor player. And for this player to perform in the seniors, he needs to be given a cozy role where he can play what he wants, plays where he wants and have a bit of fun. And then I'll look at the guys who are going to educate him in the dark arts. And no offense, I see Corey Durden and Jesse Motlop and Orazio Fantasia and Zach Williams. And I kind of go, okay, well, what's going to happen is Tyler Gresham's going to come to the football club. And by 2028, we're going to be doing reviews of his game. And the comments are going to be filled with, he's shit, get rid of him, absolute waste of space, worst footballer ever. And this is what scares me. So Liam Ryan, for me, an essential for Carlton to recruit in the off-season. Because this guy gets the game. Had very limited opportunities, massive amount of crumbs, kicked twice as many goals as he was expected to do from the opportunity. Shoots on sight. 50, very good as well. He leads. Give the Blues someone to learn from. Liam Ryan is that man. Get him out of that hellhole up in Perth. So big time, short time, 2-year deal. Come here. And you know what? If Tyler, I'm going to make a big call. If Carlton sign Liam Ryan, Tyler Gresham within 5 years, Tyson, sorry, yeah, will be the best small forward in the country.
Clip it, save it.
The reason is I say that is he will be the only small forward to play off two guys that provide crumbs for a living. And if we can get that into him, Gresham as a young kid in seniors, learning off someone who actually knows how to play the game. Liam Ryan, for me, is the most gettable, best player you could get for that.
I don't mind it. 7.5. All right, let's have a look. Last few, I think this is the player.
That's the player of the game. The title's been cut off because I made some edits to make it visually, so I'm sorry. So, okay. Player of the game, Sam Walsh, huge 9. And he also got the main riser as well. Unfortunately, Sam Walsh has had a horrific time with his ratings, and he finally had a good rating this week. So
he did.
That's good for him.
Much needed. Jack Silvani, the Horizon Finance 1%er. What is the 1%er?
So the 1%er is the incidentals in AFL, the corral, things like that. Horizon Finance obviously do business finance and things like that. So it makes sense. 1%ers. Jack Silvani, again, I told you he's the man to beat for this. He's the man to beat. He's hard to beat. He's Jack for the 1%ers. And now he's in the back line. I reckon this might be his medal. I can't see him getting beaten. Jacob Wheaton's the only one who's close to him.
They should put a percent sign after the 1 on his jumper from now on. That's a joke, by the way.
I'm telling you, he can't be beaten. This bloke, like the most underrated stat line in AFL for a defender is the 1%ers, and it's makes sense. It's called the 1%, isn't it? But
yeah,
this is what impresses me about him: is if he can't mark it and he can't win it, he does something.
Yeah.
He does something to impact it.
And then...
that's from... Ignore that. It was...
That's from last week.
That's it. We're finished.
We're done. Okay. So, that's us. What does that picture tell you? I mean, other than...
Got in a flag, baby.
Well, careful. No, I think what it tells me is that we got a few players into form that needed to find some form. And now the question is whether it's real form or whether it was just an outlier.
It's one of them ones, Terry, if you look at it, right? And I said it in my review, right? And I was specific on it. It's a great day if it turns into something. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. But I've had some people saying, I wish we hadn't won and stuff. What's to do? Give up? They've got to fight. And when I can tell you from a sports point of view, when you're out of form, the worst thing sometimes is not performing. So you look at tennis, you look at golf, they drop down the tours. They drop down to a category B tour, a category C, to try and just feel winning again.
Yeah.
Just to feel it. There's no shame in beating up a shit opposition. What happens when a boxer gets knocked out? Their next fight is against a taxi driver, like Dylan White. He lost the world title fight. He ended up fighting a bouncer the next fight and KOing the bloke in 35 seconds. Sometimes you just need to remember what it feels like to be the daddy. Yeah. So for me now, okay, there's a lot to work on. Forward pressure was deplorable. Corridor defense, still shit. But at least the stuff that hides it worked. So if the stuff that hides it works and Carlton do score goals from the midfield, opposition has to react to that. At the minute, you know, Hewitt's just going to fuck about out the back winning ball. Cripps is going to win contested ball. Cherry's going to piss about getting pressure acts. And Walsh is going to do a hit session in the midfield. If they start kicking goals, suddenly it's not so easy to defend. If the forwards start kicking goals, suddenly you're not giving them space and preparing for them to fuck up. You're pressing them. So it's all relative. So yes, okay, it's West Coast Eagles. It's 18th on the ladder. Who cares? If they can get something out of this game and they win next week and the confidence starts to breed a little bit, it's a lot easier to make changes when you're winning than when you're getting beaten from pillar to post. So I remember telling Terry 99.6% chance we win Eagles statistically. It was proven right. It's this week, it's in the 60s. So we should win. But the challenge, I love this challenge. Team that goes too hard from the halfback line, it kills them in the second halves. They're very structured in the middle. You've got to break their spirit. If they're in it for longer, they'll win the game, the North. That's how they play. Brilliant week this week to play another level up before you play Geelong, right? And Geelong have very little weaknesses. Carlton have to play their A game.
Yeah.
This week, though, it's a step up. North are very good at halfback. We're shit at defending that. They're very structured and disciplined. We're shit against that. So it's another level up for these boys. So that's all you can hope for. Like, I hate that thing. It's just Eagles. Like, Carlton didn't ask to play the Eagles.
Yeah. It was also just Richmond.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I would say Richmond, even the data said Richmond was more of a worry.
Yeah.
Because of the style of the game. But this is a fascinating one for me. I feel for the Blues because this was, again, what I said in my preview about Richmond. If they win, who the fuck cares? It's Richmond. If they lose, sack Voss, burn the club down. And if they just win because they get beaten up and a bloody nose, wheels are off. It's not good enough.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose. Do you think it's the same for North this week, or have North gone up a level away from West Coast? Because I can already see before game saying, look what they did to Melbourne, but then after next week, if we beat them well, Melbourne is shit anyway.
Look, there's two things that annoy me. People saying, West Coast did well against Eagles. It's the outlier. Look at
West
it statistically.
Against Brisbane?
Yeah, against Brisbane. That annoys me as much as North beat Melbourne. Melbourne are a basket case. Yeah. Right? The thing with North Melbourne you've got to respect them. They work hard off the half-back line. All the things we're bad at, that's their game plan. That's their game plan. So, should be a routine victory. Should be a routine victory for the Blues. If we are a team that's top 8, should be a routine victory. And we've got to go on that premise, right? You've got to beat them. Every game this year, as much as people are bagging them, and I bagged them in my Pomnado this week, actually watch the games. Up till half-time, when there's a sniff, they look good. The problem is they still haven't got that fight, that backbone, that hard edge, and they roll over easy. And all the teams, Sydney and Gold Coast, they've beaten them up. They've said, okay, unlucky boys, we're better than you. The teams that struggled, Adelaide in the first half, paid them too much respect. Melbourne, doggies, too much respect. That's something that I question about our Blues. Do we put teams away early enough, quick enough? So great way to have a prep for Geelong because it's a must-win game. Shouldn't lose it.
No, it's a must-win game. All right, let's wrap it up. See you all in 15 minutes. Pom, thank you very much for that. See you next week, 5 p.m. Monday. Is that the plan?
What?
5 p.m. Monday next week, the North Melbourne review ratings.
Oh, yeah.
You there?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. We'll see you next Monday, and we'll see
See
you
you
all
next
at 7
Monday.
p.m.